5 minutes before special martial law has been declared, we see Conjidol, private guard of the first Prince Benjamin, killing the guards of Prince Lazarus. Guards Rice and Baharate, who are posted outside of Lazarus' quarters, notice two of Benjamin's private guards sneaking outside Hulkenberg's room and decide to go inform Lazarus. Once they let him know about the situation, Lazarus correctly guesses that special martial law is about to be declared. Lazarus tells Rich, a hunter, to go stall Conjidol since it is unlikely royal guards would harm Hunter Association members. Lazarus orders them to dispose of all of the drugs, even Basho's clean leave, since once special martial law is declared, the military takes control of everything and could use it to detain Lazarus. Basho is not happy about it since the Ministry of Justice made it legal. Rich finds Conjidol right after he has assassinated another guard. He confronts Conjidol, who pleads self-defense, but Rich tells him to drop his weapon and lets him know that an investigation will be necessary to determine if he is speaking the truth. Conjidol agrees to put down the weapon, but is reluctant about the proposition of an investigation, asking Rich who is exactly investigating whom, and gives Rich a hard stare. We don't know Rich's or Conjidol's ability. All we know about Rich is that he had a rap battle against Basho during the banquet. It could hint towards an ability similar to Basho's, where poetry or rhyming is a condition, but it's probably just his hobby and not tied to his ability, similar to how Izunavi and Giuliano performed a rock show, but I don't think that has anything to do with their abilities. We do not know anything about Conjidol's ability either, but judging from his personality, I would be surprised if it is a support or intelligence ability. It will most likely be an ability that is useful in combat. It is hard to predict whether Rich and Conjidol will fight. Things are escalating, but Prince Benjamin gave an order not to harm the Hunter Associates. But then again, Conjidol said himself, I am the type to pull the trigger now and think up an excuse later, so he might not care about Benjamin's order. The two guards sneaking outside Hulkenberg's quarters were Yushohi and Kamathi, who are under the assumption that Balsamico and Hulkenberg's followers are there. We do not know 100% if they are in Hulkenberg's room, but that was the prediction of Prince Benjamin. So they are going to check on Balsamico and arrest Hulkenberg's followers because of Benjamin's orders. No one answers Kamathi, who is trying to contact the room, saying that because no one is answering, it counts as an act of treason against the royal army. Yusho is paired with Kamathi because his ability, Stand By Me, which he used to kill Saleh Saleh, cannot be used in the succession war anymore. It uses a combination of N and Needle Ball, but Nen users can tell if someone is using N, and Kurapika's training has given every single prince at least one Nen user, so it has become impossible to use his ability to assassinate princes anymore. Kamathi tells Yushohi to storm in the moment special martial law is declared and uses his ability, Lord of the Flies, Mute King. By touching a willing person, they grant that person invincibility for the duration they were touched. There are probably 3 to 4 minutes left until the declaration of special martial law, so once Kamathi lets go of Yushohi, he will be invincible for those few minutes. But once the time limit expires, the user enters a state of Zetsu for 100 times the duration of the invincibility, and after the Zetsu is lifted, they suffer damage equal to 1/3 of the total damage they suffered while they were invincible. Also, this ability cannot block joint type attacks from multiple collaborating Nen users. So if they receive 3 times the amount of lethal damage, they would still die. Yushohi confirmed that one person is inside his N. I'm not sure if that means that he can only reach one person, or if there's just one person in the room, which would most likely be Balsamico, tied to a chair, and Hulkenberg's followers have made their escape. Shimano explains that she has known for a while that Prince Wobble is not the real Wobble, but it doesn't really matter to her because she is determined to serve the queen no matter what. However, she is worried about what will happen to Prince Wobble after the succession war. Kurapika explains that it depends on which prince wins the succession war. Queen Oito wonders if the succession ritual would fail, would the remaining surviving princes be saved? Kurapika explains that there are 2 major problems to consider before that, the first being Beyond Netero's curse. If the condition for the curse is officially participating in the succession war, then Prince Wobble is safe. But if the condition is having participated in the seed urn ceremony, then she would not be safe. Kurapika also says that there is a possibility that Beyond didn't manage to curse the real Wobble in time, and the fake Prince Wobble was cursed instead. Because of the search of Nen, Kurapika felt near the prince very shortly after they boarded the black whale. Kurapika notes that it could also have been the Nen of the silent majority user, or the Nen of one of Prince Benjamin's private guards. But to confirm what condition triggers the curse, they would have to go ask Beyond himself. Kurapika says he could use his steel chain and stealth dolphin ability to learn Beyond's ability, but the condition for the curse might be too high, and Kurapika would die himself if he could not fulfill the condition. So the most realistic approach would be to negotiate with Beyond, but it is unlikely that he would even admit to the curse. Bill, however, proposes that there might be a situation where Beyond will be pardoned by the Hunter Association and is free to go. Kurapika says that it is impossible, because that was Isaac Netero's final order. However, Bill corrects Kurapika that Netero's last order was to bring back a solution to the threats from the Dark Continent, and there might be a way to get a win-win scenario. Kurapika responds that it can't be done because the Hunter Association has a contract with the V5. Not to mention, Beyond is willing to use his own children as pawns to achieve his goal, so if he would actually talk about the curse, it would likely be a trap. But Bill has an idea to set a trap of their own in return, to use Longy's power Moonlight Act to make a contract with Beyond that would forbid him from using his ability. Kurapika wonders why Bill is so determined to go against Beyond, since he is a member of Beyond's expedition team, to which Bill explains that after hearing everything Beyond has done and is planning to do, he can no longer be loyal to Beyond. His priority has become to protect Queen Oito and Prince Wobble, but now he is getting more ambitious and wants to stop the entire succession war. He believes that the Hunter Association would support this cause to stop people from killing each other, because failing to fulfill the conditions of the succession war ritual would only have a negative impact on the upper princes and Beyond Netero. Bill warns Kurapika about Beyond being capable, confident and arrogant man that loves strategy games and will accept any challenge. Bill says Beyond would talk about the curse exactly because it's the center of his plan. If anything, he's probably itching to talk about it. He is that confident. Kurapika explains the second major problem, which is that if Queen Oito does not know the whereabouts of Prince Wobble, then it is plausible that she is also boarding the black whale. Queen Oito, however, does not believe that, but Kurapika notes that it is still something that is impossible to prove to the military, and that first Prince Benjamin is probably conducting their own search to find Prince Wobble. Kurapika explains that the military will assume that swapping Prince Wobble was a scheme to have her still participate in the succession war, until it is confirmed by the current king that Prince Wobble is not participating in the succession war, or proven that Prince Wobble is not on the ship. They can't convince anyone that she is not on board, because the lack of proof does not equal proof. However, the other princes can't do anything about the situation if she is not on the ship, but Beyond Netero might be able to do something depending on whether the real or the fake Prince Wobble is cursed by Beyond. Kurapika says there are two ways to undo the curse. The first one is to identify Beyond's biological child who is targeting Prince Wobble and to lift the curse. However, I don't know if that's even possible, since Longy and Furikov have not been able to do that themselves. The second one is to track down the real Prince Wobble and break the curse with the help of a skilled Nen exorcist. Kurapika says they should do the former, since it would help them fulfill the contract with Longy, but also says that they should have hunters search for the real Prince Wobble as a backup plan. Kurapika has a suspicion that Oito knows how to find the real Wobble in a case of emergency and presses her about it to help their search. In the end, Oito gives instructions on how to contact her family. Oito says that she previously feared that if Prince Wobble's non-participation was exposed, her whole family would have been killed. That's why she put all her faith in Hulkenberg winning the succession war. Now she only prays that the real Prince Wobble is not cursed by Beyond, and asks if the Hunter Association could really protect them. Kurapika admits that you can't trust everyone blindly in the Hunter Association because people have their own agendas, but he also says that he has friends whom he can trust more than himself, who he knows would protect Prince Wobble. And we see Gon and Killua, who will soon reunite in their search for Prince Wobble.